Have you ever wanted to start a podcast but don't know how? Well, Anchor is here for you. Anchor is a user-friendly platform ideal for podcasters. Once you upload your first episode, Anchor does the rest, streaming to other popular platforms such as Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Apple. Just download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Hi, valorous soldiers. I'm your host, Crystal Display, and welcome back to another podcast where we're all about sisterhood, spiritual, and personal lifestyle development in an everyday woman. I hope you enjoy. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, so welcome back to another episode. I hope you've been well. Just before we start, go ahead and grab yourself a cup of tea, cold beverage, whichever you're comfortable with. And today I'll be sharing a testimony of God's goodness. God has done so much things for me, and I just want to share that with you all today. So grab a seat and let's chat. All right, so I don't know, where can I start? All right, let's start from I had just finished university, and I've finished my final placement. You guys probably don't know, but I did nursing in university, and so I was training to be a nurse. And now, after hardship and hard work. With God on my side, I was able to finish my university studies, and I was just looking for a job, really. I was looking for a job, and I've been to throughout my placement in nursing, I've been on various wards, and because you've been in different wards, you kind of know where exactly you'd like to work as a nurse. And so, I've been to all the hospitals, and to be honest, I wasn't drawn to the wards that I used to I did placement on. I wasn't drawn to any of them except one. And and it's so funny that I never see myself as a surgical nurse. I've always thought that it was medical because, the other placement that I did was medical. But the final placement that I did was surgical. And so, I did the placement for, I think my final placement was around 3 months placement in surgical. And I really loved it. I loved every moment of it. And I really pushed myself, and I really worked very hard, especially in the final placement, because I knew that that's where it counts, and that's my final placement will determine if I'm able to manage the workload as a nurse. And so I gave my best, I gave my all, and I don't know if in university, right, I would dream a lot, right? I would dream a lot. Maybe no. I haven't really been dreaming. Like, I don't have dreams like that. But in university, throughout university, I had good dreams, bad dreams, nightmares. I had loads of dreams, to be honest. I had dreams. And so, fast forward, I would say that before I was even offered, so I finished my final placement, and my manager, at the hospital offered me a job to work on the ward that I was working as a student. And so even before she had given me the opportunity, I had a dream that I was already working there. And I never really think much of it, because it must have been because I really wanted to work there that I dreamt that. But the dream was so vivid, as if I was really there and really working there as a nurse, in the dream, I was working there. I had my uniform, the typical, in the UK, it's like a typical blue tunic. So I was wearing my blue tunic in the dream, and I was working on the ward. And in the dream, my husband, he was admitted in the hospital. I think he had like a broken foot or something in the dream. And so everyone's like, "Oh, your husband, he's here." And I see myself like walking around on the ward, and I came in to see him, and I was like, I just didn't understand the dream, because I'm just like, but wait, like, sidetrack, I haven't even had a job yet in nursing, so like, what is this dream about? And so, in the dream, I just vividly saw myself in my uniform working on the ward that I really wanted to work. Because I've worked everywhere else, and I didn't like that environment, and I felt like this environment that I was in, I was a lot more comfortable. The team was great, the manager was great. Everybody was just friendly, and that's the environment I see myself working in as a nurse. When you have a good team, a good environment, that you think you can manage, then you're likely to draw towards it. And so that's what I wanted, and I prayed about it, and I just continued to pray about it, really. And then I never asked, on my placement, I never asked for a job offer. But I think based on how I had worked as a student, they saw the potential that, look, this is a really good nurse, let's hire her. And so they offered me a job offer, and I was really, really happy, So my manager, she offered me a job, and of course I said yes, because I couldn't. Everywhere that I went, the environment, as I said, was just not suitable. It was not good. It was really not good. And so I said, you know what? Let's go for this job. And I already knew that, because I lived in a different part. I lived away from my family. I boarded for the 3 years, and I decided to stay where I was instead of going back to the area where my family was. I ended up staying where I was near the campus. And so, I said, yeah, why not? Because I already work on this ward for 3 months. I kind of know the ropes already, and how to admit patients and all those things. I already know what exactly to do. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. It would work in my favor to take this job, because I'm not gonna lie, nursing can be heavy, especially during this time now, the pandemic. But yeah, it can be heavy, but you just need to have a good team. And when you work as a team and you know how to manage your workload and delegate the task, then it's manageable. And also what I've noticed, when I do have hard times at work, when it's stressful, I would always pray. I would pray normally in order to pray, I would just go to the bathroom and pray there. And so that's what I did. Like, whenever I have, even before I would start my shift, I would pray, and I said, God, just give me the strength, the vigor to manage this shift today. And whenever I do that, I see a difference. Like the workload will be more manageable. I would actually even enjoy work as well. It wouldn't feel like a drag. Every time I pray, I see God move in my shift. Even though sometimes some things will happen last minute, or, patient would decline in some way, no matter what the circumstance was, because God was there with me, it was manageable, And so, I took the job offer, and I was preparing for my interview. And if you guys know me, going for interviews are not my favorite part, because I'm always nervous. Even though I'm talking on the podcast like normal, or I'm doing YouTube. Oh yeah, guys, check out my YouTube channel. It's called Crystal Display. If y'all don't know already, I do faith and productivity on that channel, so go ahead and check that out. But yeah, even though I do YouTube and I do podcasting and I'm doing a ministry and I'm doing a lot, I still, when I meet somebody for the first time, I'm still a shy person. And even though I had known my manager and I knew the team and everyone, I don't know, the fact that it's called an interview, that made me nervous, because I have to say the right things to the answers that they ask me. So yeah, I was just prepping for the interview, typical nursing interview. Sometimes they would ask you to do calculations. So, I was practicing my calculations on the day of the interview. I had prepared my interview outfit like the day before. Normally, I always go for like black, because it's just formal. Black is just formal. So I would have like a black top, black trousers, black shoes. That's it. Very plain, very formal. And I would have like a jacket. Always have a jacket, because it makes you look very formal, well put together. And yeah, that's what I had. So I prepared my interview uniform, my interview clothes the night before, and a couple of days. So if I know the interview is like on Tuesday, I would do it I would prep for like Sunday. So I give myself at least 2 days or 1 day to prep for the interview. I would Google up questions. I would say nursing interview questions on Google, and they would just pop up, the typical questions that they would ask. And surprisingly, like majority of the questions that they asked, it was on Google, and I would analyze the answers that they gave to the interview question, and I would try to tweak it into how I would answer myself. So that's what I did. So I was prepping for the interview, prep, and then fast forward on the day of the interview. You always have to show up early. So I did. I show up early, and I was nervous. Even though I knew them, I was like nervous, twisting my hands, and I was nervous. And they're like, "It's okay, just just relax." So that's what they did, So I answered the questions, and there's always one question in an interview, right, that always baffles me. And so yeah, the one question whenever I would stumble on that one question, whichever question it may be that may be difficult, I would ask them, "Can you repeat, please?" And so that's what I said. I said, "Can you repeat, please?" They repeated the question, and then I would think, and then I would answer. And yeah, so after I'd finish, sometimes I think most interviews they would say, "Oh, we'll contact you and let you know." But literally on that day, I found out that I got the job. If you want to be further inspired, then check out our blog, womenofmightyvalorministry.com, where we give godly inspiration and motivation every single Tuesday. So check out womenofmightyvalorministry.com. If you're looking for a top-notch and on-time quality graphical work, then go ahead and check out Black Ink Enterprise. That's BLACK.INC.enterprise. They actually care about their customers, and they give direct customer service interaction. You literally feel as if you're every step of the way, whether they're building your logo, website, brochure, flyers, and more. Just contact BLACKINENT.com. Yeah, so every system is different, but on the day I found out I got the job, and that's when everything just went downhill. So imagine my manager told me I got the job, right? And there was available space, there was vacancy. Well, I thought there was vacancy at the time, and so within that year as well, when I applied for my nursing job, I was going to get married. I think it was in 2017. I was getting married. I think I applied. Just say I went for the interview in August, the end of August, because that's when I knew my results and everything. And then I went for the interview, and then within that same year I was going to get married and stuff. And so I was supposed to start work, let's just say after I got back. So I spent like a month in Jamaica, for my honeymoon, for my wedding and things. And that's what I did. But the twist of it all, right? This is the twist of it all. So just before I would go to Jamaica now, I called up. I don't know how I ended up calling HR, human resources, but I ended up calling human resources, and I said, is there any vacancy? Like, I would ask them if there was any vacancy on my ward, and so they said, no, there's no vacancy. And I said, what? How can there be no vacancy when I've already went for an interview and they said that I have the job? And I was very confused. I'm not gonna lie, I was very confused, and I'm just like, I went for an interview. They told me by word of mouth that I got the job, and I'm calling you guys just to double check, and you said there's no vacancy on the ward that I applied for. And so, I I'm not gonna lie, I was worried. I began to get worried, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it to God. So back then in university, I'm still a big fan of prior journaling. So I would write in my notebook. So this, a simple notebook, but it became my prior journal, because I would write to God. And I would write to God, and I would say, dear God, So literally, my first entry to my diary, I think within that year, was the fact that I was talking about my situation, that they said I have a job, but actually I don't have a job in nursing. So what am I gonna do? And so I can't need to just pray. I can't need to write. Whenever I feel worried, I would just write in my journal, write in my prayer journal to God, and say, you know what, God, just fix this situation, because the way things are looking, as if I probably am not going to even work on this word that I really love and I really like, And so, I just decided to just leave it in prayer, to be honest, because I couldn't do anything. And so my manager, she contacted me, and she wanted to, update me, and she said she's trying her best, and she was kind of suggesting other wards to work on in the meantime, while she talked to the bigger heads, her bosses. She was trying to talk to in regards to getting me on the ward. And so fast forward, I said, you know what, let's just do a backup plan just in case. So I visited another ward in another hospital, and I remember blatantly said to the manager, you are my second choice. I'm waiting for my first choice. And I'm looking back and I'm like, what got over you? Like, why did you even tell the manager that? And I think even the manager was shocked, of the other hospital, that, like, such confidence. Because I just, because I had that dream, I held on to that dream, because I'm like, God showed me that I'm going to be working at this job, even if it doesn't look like I'm going to get it right now, I know I'm going to be working at this job. So I had that faith, that unmovable faith, that no matter the situation, God is going to fix it for me, and God is going to work it out for me somehow, some way, because He's the one that told me and showed me that dream. And so I was just I was just stuck in the fact that I'm still waiting for my first choice, because my first choice was that ward, that surgical ward I wanted, and the second choice was the medical ward. Medical is okay, but it's not my favorite. I think surgical is more my thing. So I went there anyway, just as a backup. But they said, if anything, my start date would be like in December. But I wanted to start as soon as I would come back from my wedding, that would be like November, and the medical ward was starting like December. So I was like, oh, so I have to be waiting then. And so, I just kept on praying, prayer journaling to God, telling God my situation. And I just kept the faith, because I know that God showed me this dream for a reason, and I'm not going to give up on this dream. I'm still going to have faith in God, because he's done so much things for me. He has worked impossibilities for my life the minute I step into this country. So even before I stepped into this country, actually. So I just knew that no matter what, God was going to fix the situation, And so, while I was on my holiday, my manager would email me and update me about what was going on, and what the bigger boss said and all those things. So while she's updating me, I think I did my DBS as well, which is this like criminal check that they do for nurses. Because normally, because you are dealing with vulnerable people, you have to do like a criminal check to make sure that you're safe to look after vulnerable people. So I did that electronically while I was in Jamaica, and she keep on updating me, and I just keep on praying. And I even brought my prayer journal, on my trip to Jamaica, because I'm just like, I'm not leaving this. I'm not leaving my prayer journal. I'm going to bring it with me. And whenever I feel worried, or whenever I feel stressed out, or whatever feeling I may feel, I'm just going to write it down. So if you ask me, I'm a big fan of prayer journaling. And back in the past, before I had a relationship with God, it used to be Dear Diary. But now I would say Dear God. So I would write my situation out to God whenever I feel. And it's good to have a prayer journal as well, because I don't know, it keeps record of what God has done for you, and all of the impossible situations that you have encountered, and you see how God just deliver you out of all of them. And so it's that's why I keep a prayer journal. I had one prayer journal just for university, and then I have one just for my regular daily life. Yeah, so my manager coming to update me and everything, and then eventually, I'm not gonna lie, God worked it out. Literally, that's all I can say. Like, literally, God worked it out. Because now I think somehow, 2 nurses end up leaving the ward that I wanted. And I'm just like, wow, God, you're so awesome. You know my heart's desire. You know that I want to work on this ward and not on next ward. And you know that I'm supposed to be here. You showed me, I was saying to myself, you showed me that I'm supposed to be on this ward. And, you just somehow at the right time, you allowed space. They initially, human resources said there was no vacancy at all available. And God just miraculously, I don't know how he did it, but I just give God thanks, So the 2 nurses end up leaving, and then there was a spot available just like that. And I'm just like, my God, you are so awesome. There is none like you. Like, you are the big boss, And I just the reason why I'm sharing this testimony is to show that even if things look impossible to your physical eyes, continue to trust God, because even if you don't understand certain things or why certain things are happening to you, sometimes when you go through trials, when you go to tribulation, right, is to strengthen you, to strengthen your faith in Him, to strengthen your faith in God. So, trials and tribulation will come, because that's what the Bible says, that they will come, but they make you stronger in Christ. It shapes your faith in God. So when certain things, when certain situation would happen again, because more likely troubles will come again, you're not fazed by that situation, because you know who you serve. You know that God is all powerful and He's able to deliver. So back to the story now. So she told me that good news while I was on holiday. I was going through my own stuff as well, trying to sort out the wedding, and that's another testimony in itself. But yeah, I ended up got married, and then job offer, and then after I got the job offer, I came back to the UK and I started working. And the thing I wanted to do as well, I didn't want to, because usually after you get qualified, people would start working immediately, and they would work as a HCA, which is a healthcare assistant first. But I wanted to just, as soon as I came back from Jamaica, I wanted to just go straight into the nursing role. I didn't want to do a healthcare assistant, because I know how the role of a healthcare assistant works already. I just want to be a nurse, because when I tell you guys, I wanted to be a nurse from I was in primary school. That's how long I wanted to become a nurse, right? And to see that it actually happened, it's just mind-blowing. It can't be anybody but God, and I'm so grateful for my friends as well in university. Y'all know yourself, Salome, Sian, and Makoni. Y'all know yourself, like the struggles. If I bring them on the show, like, they're gonna tell you the struggles of nursing, like the struggles of studying nursing. It is not easy. It was not an easy task. University, to be honest, especially nursing. It's a combination of everything. Nursing, you have to be multi-skilled in everything, and that's what university had taught me. So it's not just about the practical taking care of people. It's more than that. And hopefully I'll be able to share, bring one of my friends on, and we can probably discuss how studying nursing in university is actually like. But that's another episode for another time. But I just, I'm so grateful for my friends, and since we started our nursing career, we've been busy, because nursing is busy. It's a busy career. Routine shift, fluctuating shift. So yeah, but I'm just so grateful. If it wasn't for them helping me and supporting me, alongside my husband, I would not be here right now, and mostly I give God thanks, because He's the one that gave me that desire for nursing and the drive. And even when I wanted to give up in university, He continued to encourage my heart by using other people to encourage me. So I'm just so grateful to, that's why I titled this From Jobless to Job, because even though they had told me physically with their mouth that I got the job, but there was no evidence at the time that the job was actually coming. And that's why it's so important, when you're going for a job or interview, they can always say that you get the job, but you need to actually sign the contract, have valid evidence in regards to the job to solidify that. That's why it's so important to have contracts, because when you sign a contract, that means you're in partnership or you're working alongside that person. A contract solidifies something. And so it's the same, it's the same with, I guess it's almost similar with Christ. When you decide to serve God, you would accept Jesus. So I would say Jesus is like the contract. You know, as long as you accept Jesus into your life, you now have like a contract with God to live for him, to obey him, to love him, you know, to serve him. So yeah, I just hope you guys enjoy this testimony. Probably this episode is going to be a bit short, but I promise hopefully by next week it should be back to normal. But yeah, I just hope you guys are blessed by this episode and continue to stay tuned, guys. Have a blessed and wonderful week.